my name is Werner. Welcome to the BarryBot 3D channel. In this episode of BarryBot TV, we're going to take this rectangular material purchased from Online Metals and turn it into a finished frame for my wire EDM machine. Throughout the build, I'll be using a lot of power tools that I've acquired throughout my lifetime. However, a few people asked if it's possible that this machine could be built with simpler hand tools and portable power tools, and with no question it could be, and that's how I built my original machines when I was just a kid. The way the machine is designed allows for high precision even if you have a minimal amount of tools, portable tools and hand tools. Right here I'm cleaning up the tubes just as I received them from Online Metals. I will also check for squareness on the ends the way I received it. Sometimes you can get this material with it being perfect, other times it's not, so it's always good to double check it. I did go ahead and clean up a couple of the edges to make sure they were perfect before I started cutting them to size. One of the things I like doing is giving them a thorough cleaning. I use denatured alcohol and a whole bunch of rags. One thing you want to be sure to do is dispose of the rags properly in a container like you see here, or put them in a trash bin that's on the other side of your shop from where you're going to be grinding and welding. I get the initial layer of oil off, get them cleaned up, and then I like to go over them with an 80 grit orbital sander to go ahead and scuff the material up really well, getting it prepared for paint. The adhesion is fantastic. You can see in this image the abrasion left behind from the 80 grit sandpaper. It really doesn't take more than about 15 minutes. My sander is hooked up to this vacuum system. I've been obsessed with vacuums ever since I was a kid. This is the ultimate vacuum right here. It has a Festool vacuum and a dust deputy on the top of it. The combination of these three items really makes it the ultimate vacuum. The Festool has a HEPA filter, which is one of the things I really like about it. Here I'm going through the drawings that I initially printed off from Fusion 360. Has all the dimensions and the locations for the frame. I'm just laying it out with a really good steel rule, and inevitably I have to go ahead and calculate a few things. One of my tricks for dimensions that are outside my caliper's range is to use a good steel rule along with the caliper. Using my horizontal bandsaw, I'm getting all the rectangular tube cut to size. I bought my well saw a long time ago secondhand from a contractor that had used it for one job. It was about, I think it was $3,500 when I bought it. That was a big purchase for me, but boy, has it been a fantastic machine. It can cut through a solid chunk of steel 8 inches in diameter, no problem. This is another piece of equipment I built a while back. It's a 2x72 belt grinder, and boy, I'll tell you what, this is also a fantastic machine to have. I built it with a whole bunch of attachments, and one of the cool features about my belt sander is it has an air cylinder to adjust the tension on the belt, so you can get it dialed in perfectly for different types of belts, as well as make really quick belt changes. This is yet another favorite tool. I call it a power file. It's just a small belt sander that allows you to get in and do deburring very easily. It's made by Dynabraid. Makes really quick work of deburring. Back over at the horizontal bandsaw, I'm cutting up a bunch of these little pads that I'm going to weld onto the frame. I'm making some that are 1/8 inch thick and some that are 1/4 inch thick. The bandsaw lubricant that you see me applying to the blade right here is really a great product. It works well on the bandsaw as well as chop saw blades, just makes the cuts come out so much nicer. It also makes your bandsaw blades last forever. By the way, the Linux bandsaw blades are by far the best in my opinion. Back over at the belt grinder, I'll do a quick deburr on all these little pieces. I'm giving all these little pieces a quick sandblast and they will be ready to weld up on the frame. Harbor Freight is a great source for blast media. It's really well priced and it actually works pretty well. Moving over to the milling machine, I'm going to pop a few 2-inch holes in some of these tubes. It'll provide access so I can tighten fasteners. I'm using an edge finder here to get the DRO zeroed out. Although I'm using a really nice angular cutter in my milling machine, you could use a regular hole saw in even a light duty drill press. The whole trick is to go as slow an RPM as you can and use plenty of cutting oil. Now that we have everything cut to size and machined up, it's time to fixture everything and get it ready for tacking. I have bought quite a few tools from my buddy Jason over at Fireball Tools, and you'll see a few of them used on this project, like the Mega Square, Monster Squares, and I also use some of his magnetic shims. I have the entire kit, really super handy. Here's the Mega Square I was referring to with some of those shims installed. This is the complete kit. And here's the Monster Square, just making everything really nice and squared up. I will be using my Power MIG 210 MP MIG welder for welding up this frame. I like having 030 wire, and this is the Harris brand or particular wire that I'm using in the machine. I am using a CO2 argon mix for my shielding gas. Notice that it just it burns, seems to burn a little bit nicer and with less splatter, which I really like. I absolutely love my strong hand fixture table and all the accessories that go along with it. It really makes fabricating fun and very repeatable if you're doing more than one part. Here's a pro tip for anybody that has a welding or fixture table they want to keep looking nice, is to use this roof flashing. It's actually for step flashing a roof, and you just install it in the corners, and it keeps the splatter and heat off of your table, and just keeps everything looking really nice. Had this welding project been any larger than this, and I would have had my welding jacket on, but for this project I went ahead and just lathered up with some heavy SPF sunscreen and got right to it. I bought my first welder when I was just a young kid, and can still remember talking my mom into going down to Builder's Emporium to pick up a Lincoln AC buzz box. It's the welder that looks like a tombstone, and boy, that just opened up a whole new world for me, because I had always been a woodworker and actually had a complete wood shop at age 15 and a half. And once I got into metal fabrication, boy, I was just amazed at what I could build. And to this day, I've never had a weld fail. So, you know, you can build things, and it's really amazing. They just, the strength of it after working with wood for so long was just, yeah, like I said, just opened up all kinds of possibilities. I had it in my mind that I wanted the top and bottom to be totally flush and smooth, and that was the reason for grinding off these welds. There really wasn't that much buildup on it, but in hindsight, I really didn't need to even do it, since I had those tabs that I'm welding on. The thickness of those welds wouldn't have actually been any problem whatsoever. But it just looks nice, and it really works easy on the table, sliding it around when they are flush. Here I'm getting these last couple parts positioned to weld in place. And I'm just being double sure that I got everything where it's supposed to be located. I'm measuring twice. Studying the drawings to be sure I got it right. One benefit of having everything, all your metal really clean before you even mark up, cut and weld, is the welds just come out really nice. There's almost nothing to do after you're done welding. Very little brushing with a wire brush, and you're pretty much ready to go straight to paint. Okay guys, just fired up my CNC router. By the way, this is one of the first machines I ever built, and this machine's allowed me to build a whole bunch of other machines. It's really cool. Built it about 30 years ago, and at that time it was very, very expensive to build a machine like this. Anyways, just getting set up here. I got the frame put on a wasteboard up on my CNC router. Now we're doing very, very light cuts on this. We're only going to take about 10 thousandths just to get these pads. I'm really concerned about these 4 pads over here. These pads over here is for the stainless steel tank, and it's not quite as critical. Not too worried about that. These 4 I would like to get as close to perfect as possible. So we'll get them within a few thousandths, and right now I'm just aligning the frame. I'm using my hand jogging here, and I'm getting this all dialed in. So I'll use 2 hands. I'll get this all squared away, and we'll go ahead and get these things surfaced. Just to show you what I did, guys, I put some strapping over this, and this is pulling down pretty nicely on all the corners. And then I went ahead and I also put these blocks in place just to keep it locked in position. So now it's sitting here pretty securely, and we'll go ahead and give it a real light pass on the top of these pads, and then we'll go ahead and pre-drill, do a little 1/8 inch spot drill on those. Here I am using my Milwaukee mag drill to put these through holes in the frame. But here again, this is not necessary. I use it because I've got it. This could easily be done with a really heavy duty 1/2 inch gear drill, or even a drill press. Here I'm using my tapping arm to put some 1/2-13 threads in these holes on the bottom side. This is for the leveling feet. I'm just showing a couple of images here. I have my tapping arm normally located on the end of my mill table, which is the perfect location for it. Quite often working on the mill, I machine a hole and then I want to tap it, and it's right there handy, ready to go. But it makes it very convenient. Just with a single fastener, I can move it over to my fixture table and use it there as well. But it does normally live at the milling machine. This is what the mag drill is really ideal for. All those big items that you just can't get up on the drill press or the milling machine easily. The mag drill allows you to go and just bring the drill to the work. Here I have the frame finished up and just giving it a final wipe down. I really like using this 3M general purpose adhesive, silicone, and oil remover. It works excellent. Just be careful using it around plastics though. I'm also giving it just a little touch with the sander. There was a couple of little BBs that I found and I was able to get knocked off with the sander. I'm getting things set up in the spray booth that I built. This is a really nice unit. It's a downdraft with filtration and vents to the outside. I'm wiping everything down with this tack cloth just to get any last little bits of dust before I start putting a white primer coat on. Here you see me mixing up some Fusion paint by Krylon. This is my favorite go-to paint. Both of these cans are actually the same product. They just changed the name and labeling, but it's a superior spray paint in comparison to everything else I've ever tried, and I've tried a lot of them. The thing is it goes on, it lays down really nice, and it gets really nice and hard. It pretty much dries in 30 minutes, and you can recoat. Usually I let it, like on a primer like this, if it was a small part, I'll let it flash for about 15 minutes and then just go real light on the first coat, hit it a little heavier on the second coat after about 15 minutes. And it does an excellent job. A lot of times it'll get like little furries and stuff. I call them furries. I'll show you what those look like. And I'll knock those off with some Scotch-Brite. I like using the gray Scotch-Brite. And then I'll go ahead and put my final coat on, and it always comes out really nice. This thing looks like a car finish. It really turned out great. This is the perfect size project. By the time you're through laying down the first coat, it's already flashed off and you can start laying down your second coat followed by the third coat. It really works out nicely. To all those of you that gave me likes and commented in the last video, I really want to thank you. I was hoping there would be many more people participating, and that's just how it goes. But I'll continue doing this. And like I said, really appreciate those of you that did comment and are becoming active with this project. I was able to get the entire project welded up in one day and painted it the following day. And then it takes me about a week to produce to edit the video. I'm not real quick at it. Hopefully I'll get better at it, but yeah, it just takes me forever. I would probably have this project done in a couple weeks if it wasn't for putting videos together. But I do enjoy it, and I really hope I can get more of you guys to give me a like and start becoming involved in the comment area and participate more. Like I said, I couldn't have been happier with the finish and the way this frame turned out. It's going to be a really good base for the new machine. Thanks again for watching, guys.